Hey everybody, what's up? This is JJ and welcome to Solo Nerds. Today I am solo, so hopefully I don't bore you guys to death. But just wanted to get all these sports news out of the way before it gets a little bit old, I guess, Hopefully next week we'll be able to get Gimpy back and we'll try to get Key as well to join us to talk a little bit about sports. But let's go ahead and dig in. And as Gimpy and I always start off with, we got to start off with our guy, Tiger Woods. The big news with Tiger, after all those videos that he's been posting, is he is coming back. He'll be playing in a PGA tournament. And Gimpy and I both got our predictions wrong on when and where he will be starting. We were saying he would be starting probably in Phoenix for the Waste Management Open in February, March, somewhere around there. But he actually said that he will be coming back to his tournament, which is the Hero World Challenge, and that begins November 30th to December 3. So, as long as his back holds up, there's no setbacks or anything, looks like we'll be getting Tiger back on TV, competing in tournaments again. And let's hope that he is competitive instead of last year. I think when he started 2 or 3 tournaments, he got hurt after his trip to Dubai, and that is all that happened. But, my guess is for Tiger is that hopefully he stays competitive after a few tournaments, gets, a few tournaments under his belt. And hopefully by the Masters, we can see him competing again. So let's see what happens. And hopefully by November 30th, we can see Tiger Woods in action again. Moving along to NFL. Our Chicago Bears had a tough loss versus Saints this past Sunday. The one bright spot is our defense. They pretty much kept us in that game. They're doing a lot of takeaways, a lot of fumbles. I don't know. It looks like they might be the monsters of the Midway again. Not as good, but that is one of the bright spots in our team or on our team. And also with Mitch Trubisky, he did improve a little bit. Again, just like his first start that he had when the Bears had a chance to, at least tie it or take the lead in the final minutes of the game. Mitch did throw a late interception during the last drive that they had to try to win it. And, that's I guess that's going to come with him being a rookie. Hopefully he learns from those mistakes and that, just stops happening. So I guess on his record under his belt, he is 2 for 2 with last minute drive interceptions, which isn't that great. Also, we had Zach Miller. I don't know if you guys have seen that play or not, but Zach Miller did dislocate his knee, and it was pretty bad. He is doing good. He did have surgery to save his leg. But the one thing that everyone was talking about is that the referees did reverse his touchdown call. When they reviewed it, Mike Pereira, and I forgot the other guy's name who was on Fox, but they used to be like the head of officiating. They were saying that they would have not called a reversal of his TD, and that the folks in New York, they didn't get the call right when they reversed it. Also, in other news with the NFL, you get the Zeke story again. He's getting suspended, not suspended, suspended, not suspended. So this past week, I believe it was either Tuesday or Wednesday, the court was saying that Ezekiel Elliott did get banned again. He's going to start serving his six game suspension for this week, week 9, I believe we're in right now. And then, everyone's saying, hey, the NFLPA can't appeal it. They did. And just, I believe it was today, Friday, Zeke's suspension was lifted again. So now he's able to play week 9. And after week 9, they are not sure on his status because the courts, again, will decide if if they'll be able to uphold his suspension or not. So this is getting ridiculous. I hate talking about it. Like we said before, Zeke should have just started out with the suspension and then do everything else that he needed to do to clear his name. I don't know. This is getting ridiculous, and eventually he will serve the suspension, whether it be, the last 6 games of the season or the beginning of next season. Also, we got the trade deadline this past, I believe it was Tuesday as well. Had a few trades that happened in the NFL. You got Jimmy Garoppolo, who was the backup of Tom Brady. He got shipped off to the 49ers. That for the 49ers is pretty good because I think they got rid of Brian Hoyer, and I forget where Hoyer went. He might have went to the Patriots as well. I'm not sure. I don't know what happened. But yeah, so he gets shipped off the 49ers, and they did get a 2018 second round draft pick out of that. I don't know. We'll see. When Jimmy Garoppolo covered for Tom Brady during Deflategate, he actually did pretty good. So we'll see how he does with the 49ers. I don't know if he can be good this year, but hopefully next year and the following years to come. Then you get another strange move. You get Kelvin Benjamin from the Panthers. He was shipped off to Buffalo as well for draft picks. So now Tyrod Taylor does have a number one wideout since I think Sammy Watkins got let go as well, or got traded in the offseason, I believe it was. So I don't know what's going on with that one because, Cam Newton, was one of his good receivers, and he gets shipped off. And then last for the trades, you got Ajayi, whatever you say his name. But he got traded to the Eagles, which was a surprising move. So now you got Ajayi and LeGarrette Blount in the backfield for the Eagles. And Eagles are doing pretty good. They are 7-1 as of now. And with the two running backs that they got, I think they'll be pretty good. So there's nothing really going on with fantasy. There would have been some issues if he had Ezekiel Elliott getting suspended, but he did not. But if I were you guys, if he's still available, I would pick up Darren McFadden, see what happens with that. It all depends if and when Ezekiel Elliott starts to serve his suspension. And moving on to Major League Baseball, and this will probably be one of the last weeks that we talk about MLB unless something really big happens trade-wise, injury-wise, or anything like that. But we do have the new world champions, the Houston Astros. They win the series 4-3, and I will have to say it was a very good series. The one thing that I did not like is all the home runs that everyone was hitting. But I just wanted to say and mention, if you guys did stay up for Game 5, that was pretty nutty. You got a lot of home runs during that game. And at least to me, it was one of the longest games I have ever watched. I think that ended Central Time, probably 12 o'clock Central Time, I believe. Or was it 1 o'clock? Close to 1 o'clock, I think. But that game was really nuts with all the home runs that they were hitting. So for Game 7, you had the Astros. They were pitching from their starter all the way down to their relief bullpen, or to their bullpen. They were firing on all cylinders. They were pretty much unhittable. I believe the score was, I think it was like 5-1 or 6-1. But the one question that I did have was, should he have started Clayton Kershaw in Game 7 first, and then go with Darvish and whoever else he had in his bullpen, or the other starters that were available? Because when Darvish was pitching, he only lasted 3 innings. Then he put in Clayton Kershaw, but Houston already had a 5-0 lead, and Kershaw, he pitched lights out. I want to say maybe 5-6 innings, and he did really good. So I don't know why Dave Roberts did not start Clayton Kershaw. He looked like he was pretty fresh. You start him for at least 4 to 5 innings, which he did in Game 7, and then you put in either Darvish, Maeda, if he was fresh or not, I'm not sure. But, Dave Roberts had options, and it's Game 7. You got to put your ace in there. The one thing with Darvish, there were reports that some of the players from Houston were able to tell what pitches he was going to throw. So they were saying that Darvish was tipping his pitches, and based on the reports, also on the videos that they were saying, some of the players could tell if it was a fastball or a slider that Darvish was about to throw. So I guess they could tell with the tiny amount of movement that was in Darvish's wrist and his glove. It was really weird. So I guess they could tell if he was about to throw a fastball, there was no movement at all with the glove and with his wrist. If he was going to end up throwing a slider, they would see a little bit of movement in his glove and in his wrist. So that is something that is huge for a player. Like, I've never played baseball professionally or in little leagues or anything, but from what the players were saying is that once you can tell that there was no slider or fastball coming, I believe Darvish only had I think he has a total of 3 pitches altogether. I could be wrong on that, guys. But once they eliminate one pitch, you know which ones are coming, and then they're able to hit it. So that's why they had that. I think it was the second inning, a huge inning. I forget who it was, could tell, but there was 2 players. I believe it was Carrera and someone else, but they just unleashed on Darvish, or not unleashed, but at least they were able to battle him to make him pitch deep. That's because he was tipping his pitches, which is actually pretty interesting. I just want to say overall, it was a pretty good series. Like I said, again, the home run balls, I think, tarnished it a little bit. But it was a great battle between the 2 teams, and got to give props to Houston. They go one of the worst seasons they had, or the worst season last year, and look at them now. Now they're world champions. One last thing, too, I just want to talk about for the MLB is about juice baseballs. So in one of our Incompetent Nerds episode, I talked about there was a report in 2015, either 2015 or 2016, that someone, I forget where it was from, but The Ringer, I believe, they started to test baseballs in the second half of 2005 after the All-Star break. And there was research that, there wasn't that many home runs hit prior to the 2015 All-Star game. Then after the All-Star game in 2015, tons and tons of home runs were being hit. They started testing balls, noticed that, the balls were wound up a little bit tighter. Forget what else changes they have, but you can look up the episode. I forget what episode it is, but it could be episode 3 or 4. But they did notice that, from 2015, the half of 2015 and on, there were a lot more home runs being hit. And the funny thing is, in the World Series, with all those home runs being hit, you had both players and managers from both sides, from LA and Houston. They were saying that the World Series balls were a lot slicker compared to the other rounds, and also during the regular season, which was causing, more of the home runs due to the fact that the pitchers can't really grip the ball as much. So they're not able to throw quality pitches, especially when they throw their sliders. If you can't grip that ball and you can't put enough spin on it, these hitters are going to go off on it. So you had, like I said, both players on each side and managers saying that they did change the leather on the ball. There was a picture that was on the internet from, one of the regular balls, I think that was during the regular season, and a ball in the World Series. And you can tell it is a lot shinier too. So MLB did use different leather for the World Series balls. I forget how many home runs they hit during the World Series. I believe it was like 22, 27 home runs. And that was a World Series record for all the home runs that were being hit. At least for me, I think it did almost taint the World Series. But other than that, guys, that is all that I have for sports. And like I said, hopefully next week we should be able to get Gimpy back, and then we will grab our guest Key from all the way out from Boston to join us. And other than that, you guys have a good one, and I'll talk to you guys in the next one. Later.